Hello, everybody. This is Jeff Stanislow, and it's time to go low. Welcome to AM 820. And we are going low today with our friend from Fairway Femme Club, Emily Nowak. Emily, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jeff. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be on your show this Saturday. How are you today?
Doing wonderful. And so we've been working together for a little while now, Emily, and our roots kind of cross each other. I'm originally from Michigan, born and raised in the Novi area, and went to Michigan State University. And you're also went to school for golf in the state of Michigan. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where you went to school and what you studied for?
Yes, I did. So I went to Ferris State University. I am from Virginia. So the thought of going up to the snowy white north was crazy for my family and friends, especially for golf. But Ferris State University actually has the #1 school for professional golf management. So I found my way up there and yeah, I studied PGM, got my PGA membership, went through all my internships. It's an amazing program that kind of just turns out PGA professionals. And like I said, it's the #1 program in the nation, the original in the nation. So it's a great school and it was a great spot to find myself for 4.5 years.
So we got that great Michigan connection. So that
Yeah.
automatically makes us great people.
Yeah,
So
of course. Oh, got to throw that in there.
yeah, exactly. Even those other schools, those that big blue school, we won't talk too much
Yeah,
about.
I'm a MSUer for sure too. It didn't take too long for me to claim that one after I came to Michigan.
Very good, very good. So this is Jeff Stanislow. You're listening to Let's Go Low, brought to you by Golfers Unite, and we are talking with Emily Nowak. And Emily is the creator of Fairway Femme Club. So Emily, you've been working on the organization for a little while and the content and what have you. Why don't you just start briefly with telling our audience what is the Fairway Femme Club and what does it do?
Yeah, so when I was working in the golf industry, I found the fewest people we saw come through those doors in the golf shop were women, younger demographics. So I wanted to try to make it a little more welcoming for people. So the ultimate goal of the Fairway Femme Club was making you better from your home where you're comfortable and eventually get you comfortable enough to go out to the golf course. And from there, it's kind of transformed into talking about women's golf history, um, sticking with the instruction, but kind of going more into some golf history, talking about golf wags, kind of all kinds of any way that women relate to golf is really the goal for the Fairway Femme Club.
Right, right. So you started off with a mission just getting comfortable in golf, not even really teaching them, instructing them or what have you. And it's grown from just kind of an awareness of golf, maybe making the female golfer or, someone that might think they want to check out golf more comfortable to kind of more engagement now. So we're talking with Emily Nowak, and Emily is the creator of Fairway Femme Club. And Emily, it's grown. So tell us, like, where are you at? What channels are you on? How do people find you if they want to engage and learn more about your brand?
Yeah, so you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all of them. Fairway Femme Club. Right now with my YouTube, I'm kind of doing a little bit of longer stories, history stories, and on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you can find some swing videos, you can find instruction videos, but yeah, I'm really on every channel.
Okay. And is there a website that you have as well?
I currently don't have a website, just the social channels.
That's fine. I mean, a lot of people don't.
We're getting there. Going to start trying to see if we can build some products to get the Fairway Femme Club on your person.
Great, great. I like it. I like the brand. I think it's kind of neat. I like the mission and the story. And here at Let's Go Low, we always know you got to start somewhere and start building stuff. And you have an idea and a vision, and social media is a great way to do it. We're talking with Emily Nowak, and she's the creator of the Fairway Femme Club. So, Emily, you also are a player, right? And you went down the path and you worked in the industry. You mentioned you graduated from Ferris State and your golf management program, and you worked at some resorts and some clubs as well along the way. Tell us how, like, that experience is transitioning into the Fairway Femme Club and what you learned maybe from that and how you're trying to bring those types of things and make them better in what you're doing within the
Yeah.
organization.
So something that I saw in those at those clubs is kind of from those instructors, the students want to hear the next best thing. They want their mind blown by instruction. I'm trying to reel it in a little bit and take you back to the fundamentals of golf. Some other things that I learned, especially at the high-end private clubs, are kind of how scary a private club can be and how many unspoken rules there are. So that is another big part of my social media, trying to tell you those little unspoken things that might get you when you're visiting a private club, like changing your shoes in the parking lot is a big no-no. Just little small things like that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, at my club, we get, communications quite often about etiquette and things you can and can't do, and, wearing denim at the club at any time, or, removing your hat. And recently we just did get one about like guests coming in and not changing their shoes or any clothing in the parking lot, that
Yeah.
it's like, so I can understand where it's somewhat intimidating. You want to make that, more open and more welcoming in regards to it. And
Yeah, and especially for the women, we have some more clothing rules. So, women, if you have a collar on, you don't have to wear sleeves. If you have sleeves, you don't need a collar. So, that's something that I learned from just being super deep in the golf industry that you don't learn most times until it's too late, those little things.
right. So we're talking with Emily Nowak. This is Jeff Stanislow from Let's Go Low here on AM 820 in Tampa Bay, brought to you by Golfers Unite at golfersunite.com. So, Emily, as you look at, where golf has come from, maybe as recently to where it's at today and where you think it's going tomorrow. You can talk in general about the tour. You can talk about things that you're seeing, whether it's related to men's golf, juniors golf, or women's golf. The floor is yours to kind of just have our listeners kind of like, maybe you can keep an eye on this trend as well.
Yeah, I think that it is going in kind of a more relaxed, fun direction. In, I think it was 2016, 2017, 2018, we saw the big rules change, is where we could take it, we would leave the flag stick in. That was a huge step into kind of making it a little more relaxed and growing the game. Now, of course, we have Live Golf with the PGA Tour. We'll see what that transforms into. I think that that's going to end up being kind of somewhere in the middle. I don't know if either of those are going to fully be the same after it, but I really think that's going to this more relaxed, fun direction. I think that with clothing, with more channels like mine, hopefully making it more accessible for people, it really is kind of going that more relaxed kind of direction, which I like. I think it's a great way of growing the game, as long as you don't get too far with it, like we've seen sometimes.
You're right, because like you look at a brand like Melbon
Mhm.
that came out of nowhere, all of a sudden, like
Completely.
have this really kind of relaxed fit and this kind of cool vibe about them. And they're like, when I went to the PGA show, they were, really, really kind of like the place to be, along with a couple other brands. They get Jason Day, and Jason Day's wearing some cool stuff, and it seems all relaxed vibe, relaxed fit. But then I think they also recognize in signing Freddie Couples that they have to kind of bridge this gap, that not everybody's going to be kind of like the Jason Day wearing these kind of loose fitting, trendy type golf stuff. They went out and got Freddie to bring in the regular, golfers as well.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's kind of where they're going to have to kind of meet some golfers where they are, because kind of that classic, the older generation isn't going anywhere. So they're going to have to kind of, yeah, bridge that gap, like you said. And so it'll be interesting over the next decade or so to see how everybody handles that.
Yeah, and then there's new other brands will come and go, and it is what it is. I always, you know, you look at anything in the world and there's trends and people want to be in the trends, whether it's your home and what trend is the kitchen design going, you know what I mean? What colors are in, what colors are
Mhm.
out, and then it just needs to, and it recycles, over time and what have you. Then you have to redo your kitchen, and so
Yeah.
same thing happens in the golf industry. We're talking with Emily Nowak. She is the creator of Fairway Femme Club, and you can find her if you go to pretty much any of the social channels and search up Fairway Femme Club. You'll find her. And we're talking a little bit about golf, and we're talking about trends, and we're talking about women in golf. now you mentioned about bringing some of your brand to market, whether it's clothing or product or tool. Can you give us a little insight of what you're thinking and how, will you position the Fairway Femme brand?
Yeah, so I think that one of the biggest things I see right now is people walking around in a hoodie that says whatever classic. People are making all these amazing brands and they're making kind of these virtual country clubs. And I kind of like the idea of that, kind of feeling like you belong to something, walking around on the street with a brand, a name, a logo, some kind of club that you belong to and you feel a part of. I think a lot of people, especially as they get older, they want to feel a part of something. So they might join a country club, they might join a racket club. But you might not have the funds, you might not have the physical ability, time ability to get there. So I kind of want to make an online club community, something where you can wear the brand around and feel proud to be a part of something.
Yeah, what is it? The Sugarloaf Country Club, kind of like,
Yes,
even though
yeah,
it's a physical place, but they've kind of really done a good job of expanding their brand in the
yeah,
social media world, and people are wearing their stuff.
yeah. Kind of separation from facility and brand. They completely made their facility into a brand, kind of. Yeah, I love that. The physical and the
Where are
online.
you going to build your golf course?
Probably northern Michigan if I can find a nice
There
little
you
pie of
go.
land.
There you go. Uh, Emily Nowak from the creator of Fairway Femme Club. We got another couple minutes or two to talk about golf and talk about your brand and what we're seeing in the golf community. Um, let's pivot a little bit and talk about Michigan golf.
Yeah,
I mean, when I tell people I live in Tampa and I talk to them about good golf, and I mention it's like, if you haven't played golf in Michigan, you got to go. They kind of look at me like I'm crazy. You
yeah.
know, what are your thoughts and what are some of the favorite courses and areas that you like to play golf in Michigan?
In Michigan, I love it. You can go pay $15 to play 9 holes, and it is one of the best golf courses you ever played in your life. It is so lush, it's so green. Anything around the Detroit area, I've played a couple private clubs around there. I love anything. Thornapple around Grand Rapids, they'll open with snow still on the ground. So that's,
There
of
you
course,
go.
one of my favorites. But my number one favorite is Khaki Golf Course, Ferris State University's golf course. It's a great track, top 50 driving range in the country. It's an amazing facility. It's just very random.
I have not played that yet.
It's a great
So
track.
when I come up to Michigan this summer and if I get some days away from the fam, doing visiting family, and I'm going to play some golf. I played Bay Harbor last year.
Yeah, that's probably not, Khaki might not be that nice, but still pretty good.
I mean, you got, this is Jeff from Golfers Unite and hope bringing Let's Go Low radio show to you. And you got tremendous amount of great golf in Michigan. Southern Michigan got, well, obviously Open Hills,
Yeah,
the Ryder Cup, famed golf course. And then you got, Arcadia Bluffs.
beautiful.
They call it the, uh, uh, it's just an amazing golf course.
Yeah, and
On
then
the
everywhere in between, you have all these tracks you've never heard of that are just hidden gems. It's just like the state of hidden gem golf courses, I would say.
100%. I mean, then you got the Boyne resorts that has, I don't know, 6 or 8 golf courses
Yeah,
tied to them. And then you got Petoskey area. It's got, Bay Harbor, and then Kingsley's up there. And,
yeah,
it's just, if you haven't checked out Michigan golf, you got to check it out. I
yeah.
can't tell you so much.
Amazing. And just, yeah, and it might have something to do with them being open so little, but it's a reward. Like, it's rewarding to get to that summer golf and have those great tracks waiting for you.
And there's nothing like a nice round of fall golf in the 60s, 65s in northern Michigan with the leaves turning in the fall.
Yeah.
So it's 100% splendid. Well, Emily, I appreciate you spending the time with us. This is Jeff Stanislow, your host of Let's Go Low, here on AM 820 in Tampa. Would like to thank you for your time and listening and making this all possible. Golfers Unite is our sponsor. And if you get a chance, check out golfersunite.com. Emily, I appreciate again coming in, and we hope to see lots more from Fairway Femme Club. And I'll be sure to put a link on our website to your social channels And you can also listen to this on YouTube as well in the short future. Emily, thank you for your time.
Nice talking to you this morning, Jeff. Thank you.
Welcome back. It is time to go low here with Jeff Stanislaw, your host of Let's Go Low show on AM 820 in Tampa. Every Saturday morning, we bring you great golf stories. We have Mike Hicks Caddy Corner. We have equipment manufacturers. We have accessories, merch. We have instructors. We have lots of great things in the golf world. And today we have a special guest that's actually an author of a book. The book is called Conversations with Par. And Peter Melton, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, it's great to be here with you, Jeff, and all your listeners.
Yeah. So, Peter, you and I had a little conversation before about just like your book in general. And I thought it was really spot on. I got a chance to read a few chapters into it. And the mindset in chapter 1 is something that I go through every time. Like, hey, I played great last weekend. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. I'm going to go low. And, you get out there and you start playing and you're frustrated because it's not going your way. And, you're instead of like making pars, you're making bogeys and doubles and what have you. And your book is a great story. And as soon as I read chapter 1, I'm like, I got to get this guy on the air. So Peter, tell us a little bit about your book and like maybe, the backstory of like, why did you decide to write it? And we're talking with Peter Melton, the author of Conversations with Par.
There's my book there. It's drawn by my brother, Greg, is a landscape architect. He drew the cover for me. Conversations with Par, How a Frustrated Golfer Found Joy Through Golf. And that became my story. I played a lot of golf as a kid. I got good. I played high school. I played junior college. I got down to an 8, yada, yada, yada. But then other interests came about. I wasn't playing as much. I didn't want to practice, but somehow I kept thinking I should still be able to shoot 80, 85. Come on, I can do this. It's still in here. And practice a few days and I can go do good at that scramble, right? But even as easy as a scramble, I remember a key moment in my transformation was my brother brought me in to be a ringer on a scramble tournament, and I was terrible. And he's looking at me all day long. He says, "Who are you?" I'm like, I don't know. It's got to be here somewhere. So I got very, very frustrated with the game because I was just locked into my score and that I should be able to score well. And I got so frustrated that I stopped playing for a while. I took up left-handed. I took up disc golf, anything to try to recreate the buzz that I got early on as a golfer, and struggled for way too many long years, decades, not enjoying the game. And finally, I figured I have to figure this out. And that's what led to the book of how can I remember the joys of the game.
Sure. I think you're spot on in regards to this. I think every amateur golfer, maybe even semi-pro or professionals, probably go through that mindset of, I'm going to quit this game, or I'm going to sell my clubs, or I'm going to chuck them into the water, or whatever the situation is. But then, you birdie 18 and you're back there the next day. So we always, the ebbs and flows with golf is incredible. This is Jeff Stanislaw. You're listening to Let's Go Low here on AM 820, brought to you by Golfers Unite. Our special guest today is Peter Melton, the author of Conversations with Par. And so you got the premise of the book set. Let's dive in a little bit about like some of the chapters and some of the things that you cover in the book, and Conversations with Par. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, so it struck me. It's like I've got to reconnect to the game. Talk about uniting, right? It's like, how do I get more reconnected with the game? And the way that the book came about for me was this idea of, if I'm going to connect more with the game, how would I do that? And this frustrated golfer, as the story starts, I 3-putt 18 to lose a match. And, what the hell's par anyway? right? That we measure ourselves. This game is such a game of measurements and judgments and results. And of course, we're a very results driven culture. And so it ties in perfectly to that craziness of judging ourselves so harshly, which leads to the frustration. But in the book, I said, what the hell's par anyway? And then I hear a voice in my head and it says, oh, hi, here I am. I'm like, wait, what's that voice? It's like, it's me, par. What's going on here, right? And so this voice in my head starts blowing my mind, really. And I'm like, well, what do you mean par? It's like, yeah, it's me, par. You asked what par is, and here I am. And he says, what par? What do you mean par? Just par. It's like the par from golf. It's like, yeah, the par from golf. Is there any other par? And well, no. I says, I could tell that you were frustrated, so I thought I'd check in and see if we can't help you figure out how to reconnect the enjoyment of the game. And so poor Peter in the story is like going crazy, right? He's like, I think I'm going crazy. And Par says, well, maybe you're already crazy and you're trying to take yourself somewhere else, right? And this is the big nugget of the book, is that can we dare to look at what's going on here? And Par asked Peter, well, why are you playing? He says, well, what do you mean, why am I playing? Well, why are you playing? Surely you've been playing for 30 years. You've asked yourself this question. It's like, well, yeah, but why am I playing? I'm playing to hope to score well so that then I can be happy at the end of the round.
Yeah,
right?
I love that. I love
and
that.
Par says, well, how's that working out for you? Right? It's like, that doesn't work. First of all, you've wasted the 5 hours waiting to see if you could then at the end be happy enough with your score that you could say, I had a good time. Right? That we miss being present to the 99 beautiful things about golf that aren't my score.
Yeah.
And that's really the undergirding of the whole thing, is how can I find enjoyment in this game? And what relationship do I need to have with my score compared to what relationship do I need to have with being with my buddies, out in nature, exercise, hot dog, beer at the turn, travel to new places, see beautiful courses, right? The beauty of golf gets totally wiped out by so many of us when we get locked into the score being the only course of enjoyment.
Yeah, we're talking with Peter Melton, the author of Conversations with Par, here on AM 820. This is Jeff Stanislaw, your host of the Let's Go Low show, brought to you by Golfers Unite. And our sponsor is Back Nine Golf, opening up in Carrollwood this May. So anyways, Peter, I love how you kind of gave Par a voice. I thought that was really, really creative to kind of make the character of Par and setting those examples of like, what is Par? And I love what you just said about there's so much more in the world of golf, the camaraderie, the enjoyment, the relationship building, being outdoors and in nature, the internal challenge in yourself with like every shot. I always say every shot makes someone happy, right? Whether it's you as the player and you make a good one, or whether it's your opponent and you don't, they're just going to make someone happy. So diving in the book a little bit more, Peter, what are some of the takeaway messages that you feel really strike home with the book Conversations with Par?
So what comes out through the book is the realization that golf is a lot like life, right? And we get out there and we do the very best we can with every swing, but then the results go everywhere. So then I get to deal with myself, right? It's this inner journey of golf that I don't think gets discussed or really felt into as much as it deserves to, is, wow, what am I going through in the course of a round? And how am I dealing with myself? And how do I deal with the fact that I disappoint myself sometimes, or I flat out blow it, right? And I overreact and all these things. So this metaphor of golf being like life comes through in the entire book. It's like, well, wait, how I treat myself on the course is how I treat myself in life. And that's why people say, play golf with someone and you'll know more about them in 4 hours than you could learn outside of golf and, many meetings and different connections. And because it really is an amazing parallel. And do we realize that? To what degree do I realize, oh my God, this is a beautiful day. Yeah, I shanked that shot. So what? Right? That can I get past this judgment and results-based way of looking at golf and free myself to just be with the game and be with myself and realize that it's a game, right? Because
Right,
the game is
right.
meant to be enjoyed. Can we start with number one? Am I enjoying myself? Can I enjoy myself? Can I enjoy myself when the shots don't go where I want them to go? And so
Yeah, exactly.
that's the big hit there is the mirror that golf is, right? And how am I dealing with myself amidst the challenges of life, this round of golf?
Yeah, Peter Melton, author of Conversations with Par. We're talking about like the mindset of golf, and I think your book is absolutely amazing. This is Jeff Stanislow. You're listening to Let's Go Low Show with Jeff Stanislow, your host, brought to you by Golfers Unite and sponsored by Back Nine Golf. And Peter, I mean, you kind of nailed it on the head. I mean, how oftentimes, we define a round of golf, which is usually a par 72. And then we define our success on the score that we make. And we forget that it's realized that it's a game. And how oftentimes that, people will say, well, I don't do this for a living. You know what I mean? Back to the day job tomorrow. So everything's okay. But their mindset is still frustration, after a round of golf that might not have gone their way. And I love that how you kind of position your character Par to help them through the challenges. Really a tall tale in the symbiotic nature between golf and life. Peter, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your backstory, and where someone might be able to find your book, your website. So, one of our listeners who might want to take this to the next level and read your book as well.
There you go. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to share with all of you. It's my website is petermeltongolf.com. And on the website, actually, the first 4 chapters are available for you to get a taste of this. And it all came about, as I mentioned, from years and years of frustration and realizing that this is a beautiful game that I'm wasting. This is the game of my life. I started playing when I was 10. I grew up by a golf course. Loved the game. Loved the chance to play a game by myself also, and loved the competition of it. But got way too caught up in the score. And this is what Par says in the book. Another big nugget that I love to share with people is they're talking back and forth, and then Par jumps out and he says, 4, right? He goes, well, what? He says, am I in danger? He says, yeah, you're in danger. You're in danger of missing the whole point of being here, right? There's a physical 4 that the ball might hit you, but there's a mental, emotional, spiritual 4 that's the inner 4, right? That says, wait a minute, am I even grasping what's going on here, right? That we get so locked into, okay, I got a couple of pars going. This is going to be a good round. Here I go. I got to keep it going. And then we have that hole that happens. And how do we deal with ourselves? Okay, it's still a chance. But the whole time we're missing that present moment. We're missing the beauty of the course. We're missing the camaraderie. I mean, sure, it's happening, but you're not living it. You're not allowing golf to live through you, right? And to see, oh my God, just the beauty of this sand trap setup they've got around the screen, or like the one you have in the background of your picture there. It's like, man, these some gorgeous areas here. And why am I caught up in the score? And Par goes on to say, there's so much more than just your score, right? And
I love
little
that.
things that help us do what I call a chiropractic maneuver on your golf game a little bit, right? It's like, wait, just this adjustment, this mirror, this prompt that says, what do you enjoy most about this hole, Jeff? Oh, wow, I don't think I've ever asked myself that question. But I always noticed that row of trees over there was on perfect straight line. I thought that's pretty, that it offers question after question, because Par's just guiding him. He doesn't tell him what to do. He guides him with questions and prompts, like that. What do you enjoy most about this downhill putt? Wow, the thrill of maybe I'm going to knock it 20 feet past the hole, right? It's like there's a lot riding on this. And am I enjoying that, or am I making that a point of judgment? Yeah. So that's how it all circled around. The book is available on Amazon. and it's been, I just came out with it in September of 25. I started it in 2009. So it was a long
Wow.
process with many years of no writing. And then finally it kicked in. I've got to get this thing finished. And I had a break. I had a little viral moment through a program called Random Golf Club, you may have heard of, with Eric Anders Lang. And he was doing a documentary about the mental game. And I called him up to tell him about some of the ideas I had. This was 2013. And he filmed me sharing some of my ideas about golf in 2013. And then in 2023 was on his podcast, his co-host said, "Didn't you play golf with some guy who did crazy stuff like playing golf without a ball?" That was my hook for him, is that if you play a hole without a ball, you have a chance to experience the golf course in a whole different way, because it's not about judgment. Anyway, that little blurb went viral, and I got some exposure in 2023. And it inspired me. So I got to finish this darn book and get these crazy ideas out to the world, because I'm sure there's other people as frustrated as me out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting story, and we're talking with Peter Melton, and Peter's the author of Conversations with Par, a kind of insightful book that, looks at playing golf from Par's perspective, the character that Peter came up with. And help them through the organization of looking back at golf and saying, it's not my score, it's the experience. Peter Melton, his book can be found at Peter Melton Golf and Conversations with Par. You guys got to check it out. Really, really exciting stuff, Peter. And I'd love to have you back on the show, sometime in the near future. Maybe you will come up with Conversations with Birdie.
There you go.
Might be the sequel, because it makes everybody happier with birdies, right?
There you go.
Again, this is Jeff Stanislow. You've listened to another episode of Let's Go Low on AM 820, brought to you by Golfers Unite and presented by Back Nine Golf Carrollwood, which is opening up in May. Thank you, Peter. Thanks for spending some time with us today.
You're very welcome.
You got it, my friend. Take care.